Racing to the 2020 Kentucky Derby, and this time let's take a look at that Kentucky Derby future wager, pool number 5. Yes, Churchill Downs will be honoring all future wagers placed in pools 1 through 4, but they've decided to add 3 more future wagers this summer and then another Oaks pool, so it's going to be a long time before you can honor and cash those checks. It'll be interesting to see what shakes out here in the next 70 days. But today we'll take a look at the part 1 of future wager number 5. We're going to take a look at horses Art Collector through King Guillermo 1 through 11, and then in part 2 we'll take a look at 12 through 24. Now right now, not really a lot of strategy. I think what we'll do in these videos here is really take a hard look at their chances of winning that first Saturday in September, and which ones still have a little bit of upside and which ones are kind of showing already they're not going to peak on the first Saturday in September. One of the things you have to realize, in the spring, a lot of these horses only have 1-2 races, but a few of these horses are already up to 3-4 losses in a row now, and they're not going to turn it around this summer. It just very rarely happens, so you start to see some patterns. There's probably 3 horses that are above the rest: Honor AP, Authentic, and Tiz the Law. Art Collector is going to be one of those with a little bit of upside. He ran last year as a 2-year-old 3 times on the turf. This year he's 2 for 2, and he picked up a big Brisnet speed figure, a 103 last time out. Should be noted that was in a 4-horse field, and he beat Finnick the Fierce, who is not listed among one of the top 23 contenders. So Art Collector going to the Bluegrass possibly next. If he were to win that, that would give him the points and be a perfect prep race for the Kentucky Derby for the son of Bernardini. Now Authentic, a couple of things to like here. The last time out, I think some people, he's always had that iffy pedigree into mischief out of a Mr. Greeley mare, and Honor AP handled him handily. But a couple of things to note: he's going to point for the Haskell. He had 90 days off between his last race and the Santa Anita Derby when it got rescheduled, and he broke a little bit wide. And I thought he didn't get the best of rides that day. Drayden Van Dyke just never really got aggressive with an alpha horse like that. Mike Smith will ride him in the Haskell, and then we'll see where that sits on Derby, because Smith probably going to stay with Honor AP on the Kentucky Derby. Now we move to Basin, and Basin's one of those horses, he's listed here in pool number 5. He's been listed in a couple other pools, but is he really going to win the Derby with 3 straight losses? I think he's got a lot of distance limitation questions to answer. He's faded in the stretch to horses like Nadal, Charlatan, Mr. Big News. I just don't see him peaking and getting better in the next 70 days to win the Kentucky Derby. You'd have to have the top 3 contenders all get injured before I'd even want any part of Basin to be in those contenders. Cafe Pharaoh is one you may want to consider, just because he'll be the new shooter. He's 3 for 3, all in Japan. He's won from a versatile, he ran near the pace, he's ran from off the pace, and he's probably going to run one more time before the Derby, and that'll be on July 8th in Japan. He's already got the points required, and I think, without a lot of the unknowns in the America, I guess I'd rather have a horse like Cafe Pharaoh, who you're questioning the class, but you're not questioning the form, and a little bit of the unknown might get you that 25 to 1. Cezanne, 1 race, big price tag. You're going to take an underlay on the odds here. Is he really going to get there off 3 lifetime races? And where does he go next with Authentic going to the Haskell? Does he go to the Shared Belief Stakes, but he'd have to face Honor AP there? Does he go to another one of the other races? So where does he go, and where does he really fit with just 1 lifetime race? Had the looks of a router in his 1 race, but still a lot of questions, and I wouldn't want to take anything under 25 to 1 here with 70 days to go. Crete is another one, big win the last time out. Now he did have 2 races, so he's 1 race ahead of Cezanne. Nice pedigree, honor code out of Seeking the Gold. A lot of East Coast, 1 1/8, 1 1/4 pedigree here. So one that I guess I would take him at twice the odds probably of Cezanne. You could be looking at him in the Peter Pan Stakes, or possibly the Travers, or other races like that for Creed. Dr. Post, he's another one. Do we want him on the upswing? He lost to Tiz the Law, probably the favorite for the Kentucky Derby, but his 3rd race out this year. He did have a race last year, so he's got some 2-year-old form. I guess at 30 or 40 to 1 I'd like him, but he's 15 to 1 in the morning line. I think you'll get all of that, probably about 25 to 1 here in pool number 5. Now, Enforceable is a horse that you wouldn't have wanted a month ago, but they rested him up. He's back on the work tab. He's got 3 workouts in June, pointing for the bluegrass. He's a closer, but he has lost 2 in a row. He did win the Lecomte Stakes, but that's a tough series. So he's got the freshener. If he can regroup, he's the type of horse that you can use as a closer, maybe in some of the exacta pools here in Kentucky Derby Future Wager number 5. AntiIndian, now there's one that seems to be declining in form. Back-to-back triple-digit Brisnet speed figures, 3 races in a row. Then got crushed by Sol Volante and Tis the Law the last 2 races, although the last race was off a layoff. Now he's going to go to the Haskell, but he's got to face another speed horse in Authentic. If he loses the Haskell, that's going to be a tough trip. Then you're going to have 3 straight losses going into the Derby. Yeah, he's got the points, but you really want to bet a horse like that. His morning line here is kind of a little bit of an underlay, I would say, overall at 30 to 1. And then you go to a horse like Honor AP. Now, he's on the upswing, lightly raced, 5 to 1 in the morning line. Mike Smith in the irons, beat Authentic the last time out. He's going to take a lot of play, though. He's going to be your second favorite in the exacta pools and on the win boards. If you think he can beat Tis the Law and get one more prep, probably the Shared Belief at Old Del Mar, that will get him into the Derby with a couple of wins. And then, you know, he'll probably be 3 to 1, 4 to 1 on Derby Day. If you could lock in 7 or 8 to 1 and hold form here for 70, 80 days, that would be the way to go with a horse like Honor AP. Rounding out part 1 is King Guillermo. A big question with him is the long layoff. Right now, the plan is to go into the Derby with a 120-day layoff. He hasn't worked out now, so you're betting blindly into the workouts. I guess he'll have to start working out maybe second week in July to start gearing up for the first Saturday in September. So King Guillermo had a nice second to Nadal, had a big win at Tampa Bay. He's got the Brisnet speed figures. He's got the right running style. He's by Uncle Mo, who already had a Derby winner in Nyquist. So King Guillermo would be worth a shot if you can get 25 or 30 to 1 on a race like this. And that's a look at the part 1, the top 11 contenders. I guess out of these horses, Authentic, Honor AP, maybe a little bit of Crete action if you want to try for the upside. Enforceable, if you can get 40 or 50 to 1, could maybe be worth a couple of exacta wagers, as he's got some points and he's pointing for the bluegrass. He doesn't have to win the bluegrass. If he can just close well, he'll go in fresh for the Kentucky Derby, and at least he's already got a couple of workouts. King Guillermo, though, you're kind of asking a lot. No workouts and a long layoff. And maybe Cafe Pharaoh from Japan. I guess the unknown is better than some of the proven losers like Basin and some of the other horses like Dr. Post and even AntiIndian. Who do you like in the Pool 1 horses, Part 1? Leave a comment below. We'll have Part 2 up on Thursday. Kentucky Derby Future Wager, Pool number 5. Hit that subscribe button and share this video with all your horse racing friends as we lead you up to the 2020 Kentucky Derby.